And now, Anna Everything proudly presents Sevenerella. It is based on the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Sevenerella. Sevenerella had 5 ugly, mean stepsisters named Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi. Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi made Sevenerella do all the chores. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi all together. One day, the king of Sevenville's messengers said, Hear ye, the king of Sevenville is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Septupling. But Sevenerella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi argue over who will marry Prince Septupling later. Sevenerella is so sad that she can't go to the ball and marry Prince Septupling, while her fairy godmother asks her what's wrong by saying, Why are you crying, Sevenerella? Sevenerella responds, I have lots of chores to be done. I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Septupling. Sevenerella's fairy godmother said, I can help with a bit of magic. So she waves her magic wand. Because of that, Sevenerella's chores are all done. But Sevenerella's godmother is not done yet. She said, Sevenerella, go fetch me a pumpkin. Luckily, Sevenerella has 7 pumpkins. Sevenerella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 7 pumpkins into a handsome coach drawn by 14 strong horses. And then Sevenerella's wear clothes into a gown and crown. Sevenerella said, I've never seen such a septuple-tastic gown. And get a lot of my glass slippers, Sevenerella's fairy godmother said. Have fun, Sevenerella, but I would warn you. Return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everyone will change back to the way it was before. Sevenerella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Septupling said, Who should marry me? Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi say all together, He's walking towards me! But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Sevenerella. Sevenerella and Prince Septupling dance happily together. But later, Sevenerella realized it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Septupling was so worried that he might never see Sevenerella again. So she traveled around Sevenville to find her and brought the glass slipper with him. He knocked on the door of the home where Sevenerella, Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi lived. But instead of Sevenerella, Prince Septupling finds her 5 ugly, mean stepsisters. He then said, Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper one by one? Sophia first, but her foot is too big. The rest is the same, but none of their feet fit. Suddenly, Prince Septupling notices Sevenerella's sweet slimmy. The glass slipper fits! Sevenerella and Prince Septupling now live happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrew's Doers, and this is the 2835th episode of Andrew Does Everything. Hang on. And now I've been debating on making the Sevenerella sequels. I could do that. So, if you want to see Sevenerella 2 7 Dreams Come True, maybe I can do it a 7-episode tradition. And all of you, I hope you enjoyed this parody fairy tale about rags to riches. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And, oh, look at the time. And well, Andrew's Doers, if we time this video just right, and a few minutes later, wait for it. And if we can time this video just right, maybe I could still do it a 7-episode tradition, by the way. And then this video is 7 minutes. 7 minutes. And take care, Andrew's Doers. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and buy our merchandise too. And now, Andrew Does Everything. Andrew's Doers proudly presents Sevenerella 2 7 Wishes Come True. Sequel to the original Sevenerella, and based on the story of Cinderella. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon 2 times, Sevenerella and Prince September were happily married. But Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi have a lot of tricks up their sleeves. Several weeks later, Sevenerella and Prince September succeed in getting pregnant, but Sevenerella is sick. Her fairy godmother knows a spell that can cure her. Sevenerella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand, and because of that, the baby is cured. And the baby is a girl named Septima. A week later, when Prince September and Sevenerella were sleeping one night, Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi steal September and take her to the Sahara Desert. The king of Sevenerella's messenger saw it and said, "Oh no, she's in trouble. Oh, big trouble." He then goes over to the king of Sevenerella and tells him about his granddaughter being captured. He gets so young that he yells, "Sound the alarm!" That his messenger blows a trumpet alarm that his guards hear in order to find Septima. Meanwhile, Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi made it to the desert, but their plan is interrupted when Naomi, the youngest stepsister, trips on a magic lamp. "Are you okay, Naomi?" asks Sophia. Naomi responds, "I'm fine." They then find the magic lamp, which Septima steals, and her foster parents, Simba and Sion, find her. Simba asks, "What are you doing in the middle of nowhere, little lady?" Sion responds, "I don't know, Pookie Muffin. Let's take her home." Simba and Sion then find her the magic lamp that Septima was holding. and say, "She's holding a magic lamp." Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi don't give up though. They say, "Come back with our step-niece all together." 7 years later, Septima plays with a group of girls. One of them said, "Septima, try to catch this." But they throw the ball and it's about to hit the local shopkeeper, Demetrius. Septima uses her magic lamp to stop the ball. The genie of the lamp comes out of it and says, "I am the genie of the lamp and I got 7 wishes. What's your first wish, young lady?" Septima said, "I wish the ball wouldn't hit Demetrius. Because of that, Demetrius is saved." The townsfolk sighed and one of them said, "That was incredible," which makes the townsfolk happy. Demetrius said, overjoyed, "Septima, how can I ever thank you enough?" But one of the girls yells, "Quiet!" to quiet the crowd and say, "Septima, that's not how the game works, okay? Magic lamps are against the rules, and as punishment, we'll take you to the deadliest race in the Sevenerella desert, the River Styx." Meanwhile, back at Sevenerella and Prince Septumpling were worried that they might never see Septima again. Sevenerella of your godmother knows a map spell to find her. Septima loves the Sevenerella desert but yearns to return home more. She asks Simba and Sion where she belongs. Simba explains where she and Sion found her. Near Sevenville. Septima is surprised about the news. Because of that, she begins her journey. The genie offers to help her, and so she agrees a decade later. After the next 5 wishes, with only 1 wish left. And Septima is 17 years old now. Septima, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi try to steal her again, but it's no use. "I don't see our step-niece anywhere," complains Sophia. "Us either," agree the rest. Naomi adds, "Yes, just a genie with our step-niece." Then said excitedly, "What did I just say? Our step-niece! I found her." Veronica said, "Splendid!" But Septima uses her 7th and final wish to stop her evil step-ants. She said, "I wish my step-ants would stop." And her genie said, "Your wish is my command," and turned Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi into statues. 7 minutes later, a celebration in Severnville is to honor Septima's return home. Septima and Prince Septumpling hug her and welcome back home. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. And Andrew's Doors, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And I hope you enjoyed this bedtime story. And oh boy, I never miss bedtime. Good night, Andrew's Doers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and buy our merchandise too. Take care. Take care already. Good night. And now, Andrew Knows Everything proudly presents Sevenerella 3, September 11 Glee, a second sequel to Sevenerella based on the story of Cinderella. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon 3 times, Sevenerella and Prince September really loved each other. Well, that's about to change. Thanks to Sophia Ella, Veronica Esme and Naomi, whose statue's curse is broken, and are making a Sinister Seven's breakup potion, the most evil magic potion known to Sevenville. Sevenerella's fairy godmother tries to stop them, but Sophia Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi steal her wand and lock her up, and then splash the potion on Sevenerella and Prince September, who are breaking up. Septima asks, "Is there anything I can do to reverse the potion on Mom and Dad?" Sevenerella's fairy godmother that there's only one thing that can reverse the Sinister Seven's breakup potion. The September Bat Together potion. It needs ingredients: 21 atomic apples, 14 cups of dragon drool, and the most important ingredient of all, 7 huge doses of love. First, Septima needs 21 atomic apples. Luckily, she saw an atomic apple orchard. There were 3 trees and each tree had 21 atomic apples. And there were 63 atomic apples altogether. And a dragon approaches Septima and spits out 42 cups of drool. Later, Septima can make 3 September Bat Together potions, and not a minute too soon. Septima and Prince September are back together. And Sevenerella's fairy godmother got her magic wand back. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. Interest viewers, if you want to see some even more sequels, and maybe this can be a 56-day video tradition, something like that. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything, and buy our merchandise. Take care. Bye. And now, Andrew Knows Everything proudly presents Sevenerella 4, The Legend of Mount Sevenmar, a third sequel to Sevenerella based on the story of Cinderella. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon 4 times, Septima, who is now 28 years old, Sevenerella and Prince September went for a walk. Suddenly, someone screamed for help. A man named Sebastian, who used to be the king of Sevenville's advisor, is hanging from a cliff on Mount Sevenmar. Septima rushes to help them, but she doesn't know what to do. Luckily, Sevenerella's fairy godmother flies to help. The cliff breaks, and just in time, Sevenerella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand and magics Sebastian to safety. Meanwhile, Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi are trying to think of a way to stop Sevenerella and Prince September, since their Sinister Seven's breakup potion didn't work in the previous story. Naomi, the youngest stepsister, suggests maybe we could steal Sevener when she's fairy godmother's magic wand. The rest say, "Great idea, Naomi." Later, Sebastian is so impressed that she asks Septima to marry him, and so she agrees. A few weeks later, a wedding is planned for Sebastian and Septima. But Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi steal Sevenerella's fairy godmother's magic wand just like their plan and use it to create a storm, resulting in their wedding being ruined and cut short. Luckily, Sevenerella grabs her fairy godmother's magic wand back and uses it to turn Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi back into stone statues. The wedding is saved, thanks to Sevenerella, and Septima and Sebastian can get married. And then they lived happily ever after. The end. Andrew's Doers, that was a fun story, wasn't it? I thought so. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Knows Everything. And buy our merchandise. Visit andrewknowseverything.com. Take care. Bye. And now Andrew's Doers. Andrew Knows Everything proudly presents Sevenerella 5, the Haunted Castle of Seven Bogmive. A fourth sequel to Sevenerella based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon 5 times, Sebastian and Septima, Sevenerella, and Princess Tumbling's son-in-law and daughter are going for a walk to celebrate their anniversary. But Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi still have lots of tricks up their sleeves. Suddenly, Sevenerella's fairy godmother arrives and says, Sebastian and Septima, I don't want to interrupt, but I warn you, stay away from the haunted castle of Seven Bogmive, the most dangerous place in all of Sevenville. She then explains in the song, Monsters of Seven Bog. 7 witches stir their brew, 7 werewolves howl at you. Ooh! 7 shadows twist and creep, 7 nightmares steal your sleep. But you gotta knock on the door at 7 o'clock, or you'll meet the monsters of Seven Bog. About the monsters living in the haunted castle of Seven Bogmive. Sebastian and Septima accepted the warning. This gives Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi an idea. They steal their map. So Sevenville and the haunted castle of Seven Bogmive. So Sebastian and Septima think they're going to Sevenville when they're really going to the haunted castle of Seven Bogmive instead. Later, Septima and Sebastian say, this doesn't look like Sevenville, and spot a sign that reads, Warning, Seven Bogmive. Don't knock on the door at 7 o'clock, or you'll meet the monsters of Seven Bog. Sebastian checks the times, but it's 7 o'clock. But he had warned. Then the warning not by knocking on the door. A clicking noise is heard. A claw grabs them and pulls Sebastian and Septima into the castle. Sevenerella, her fairy godmother, and Princess Tumbling fly to help them. Sevenerella, his fairy godmother, flies, but while Princess Tumbling and Sevenerella ride her pet winged horses. Nay! Sevenerella's fairy godmother plays her magic wand. And, to make the monsters fall asleep. Because of that, the monsters fell into a deep sleep. And resulting in Septima and Sebastian being saved. Sophia, Ella, Veronica, and Esme and Naomi don't give up though. But Sevenerella's fairy godmother traps them in a bubble. Later, back at Sevenville, Septima, Sebastian, Sevenerella, Princess Tumbling, and the King of Sevenville lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrews Doers. I've been debating on making some sequels a bit of tradition. So if you want to see maybe Sevenerella 6, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merchandise at andrewdoeseverything.com. And it's getting late, so take care. Bye. Good night, everybody. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Sevenerella 6, a Magic 7 puzzle fix. A 5th sequel to Sevenerella, based on the story of Cinderella. Let's tell you the story, shall we, Andrews Doers? Once upon 6 times, Sebastian and Septima, Sevenerella and Princess Tumbling's daughter and son-in-law, and the King of Sevenville's advisor, who is now grandson-in-law and granddaughter, have their very first kid, a happy and healthy baby girl named Sandy. But Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi still have lots of tricks up their sleeves. They steal Sevenerella's fairy godmother's magic wand and use it to kill Sandy. But Sandy uses a mirror to reflect the magic. And because of that, Sophia, Ella, Veronica, Esme, and Naomi turn into stone statues again. Once more, that is. Then a bird snatches the magic wand and uses it to create an algebraic problem. X plus 2 equals 9. And so, Sandy subtracts 2 from both sides. And X equals 7. The bird doesn't give up though. Tweet, tweet, tweet. It creates another algebraic problem. Y minus 7 equals 1. Sandy had 7 to both sides, and Y equals 8. By the time the bird arrives at his nest, Sevenerella grabs her fairy godmother's magic wand back. But the bird's nest is on top of a tall tree, and her fear of heights prevents her from climbing back down. So Sevenerella then drops her fairy godmother's magic wand. Sandy knows what to do. She catches and grabs her grandmother's fairy godmother's magic wand and uses it to create a slide, which succeeds in getting Sevenerella down. Later, back at Sevenville Castle, the king Sevenville is so impressed, and he, along with his family, lived happily ever after. The end. I hope this was a fun story, Andrews Doers. And every 56 videos, I've been debating on making the sequel, the Sevenerella based on Cinderella's sequel, is a bit of tradition. So if you want to see Sevenerella 777s in heaven, then tell your friends about it. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merchandise at andrewdoeseverything.com. Take care. Bye.